Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tel Cockerel, Tuesday, the 5th of November. It is Guy Fawkes night, fireworks night, however you want to call it, throughout the world. My dogs have not started jumping up and down yet because there hasn't been any fireworks as yet, but I suppose that will all change later on tonight. And then I'll have two big German shepherds who will be absolutely petrified when the fireworks start going off. Anyway, how is everyone? I hope everyone is well. Um, I was gonna, I was gonna ask the question of people, but I was gonna ask a question, but I'm gonna ask it later now. I'm gonna leave it for a while, and I'm gonna ask it later on in the show. But today, as you're all aware, it is predictions results show, if you want to call it that. Predictions results show. Um, a mixed bag this week, a very mixed bag of predictions. Predict the football. I believe we've got a new. I can't even remember whether we've got no. I don't know whether we've got a new leader in that. Fantasy, we definitely haven't got a new leader in, and we definitely have got a new leader in predictions. That's a definite. We definitely got a new leader in predictions. Um, so yeah, with that being said, um, I hope each and everyone, like I said, well, let's say like a few people that are in here. You got early, very early. You got Adrian. I can't remember what time it was, but it says good afternoon, Jose at all. Good afternoon. He then said, I don't recall my predictions, but I think at best I was poor to average. Uh, Ronnie says, afternoon, Jose and all. Adrian, you got 4 points. Ronnie says he got 6 points. He says, Ronnie, I need a new crystal ball. David Clark says hi to everyone in the chat. Ryan G says, good afternoon, Jose. Another poor week of predictions for him. Destiny 5 says he's climbing up the table. I'm not sure because I need to go and have a look. Um, then you've got Peter. Hello, Peter. Hello. Hope you're well, Peter. Peter says hi all. It's 3:30 a.m. in Melbourne. Uh, Daniel, small down, small down. He says big up. I say small down. Small down to you, Daniel. I hope you're well, sir. Peter Kagayas then says, Ryan, what the F am I going to do with you and Wolves? Good afternoon, Graham. Graham's here. Says, hi, Jose. Hope all is well. Afternoon chat. Hanno is here. Says, big up. Um, who else we got here? Johnny Bethnal Green is here. And he's saying, afternoon, Mr. Jose Giza. Good afternoon. Um, Ellie is saying, hi, Jose. Sorry, my throat is still horrid, so sore. I hope you feel better soon, Ellie. I hope you feel better soon. Potato Stew says, hello, everyone. I didn't do very well. Only 6 points for me. I don't even know. I have to go back and check when I do the count ups to see how many people have got. I can't remember what people have got until I total it all up. Nita says, hi, Jose. Hi to all in the chat. Good afternoon, Nita. Big up, Peter. Hello to all. I hope everyone's doing well from Mikey Romero. And Ryan and David Clark says 16:45 in Leicester because we are ahead of the times. And the reason why I think Mikey Romero, yeah, Peter Kagayas has kindly gifted 5 Tel Cockerel memberships, and these have gone to Mikey. I think you're one of them. I think that's why you're saying this. Let me go back and have a look on my screens. Just a harmless potato was gifted one. Paddy Hartnett, Potato Stew, Nita, and Mikey Romero. Three of the 5 are definitely in the chat at the moment. And I know Mikey's already said thank you to Peter. But there's another couple as well. So you've also got Potato Stew and Nita here in the chat that have both been gifted by Peter. So please thank Peter, and I thank you as well, Peter. Gus Parker, he's funny, but Gus Parker, look, small down, Jose, and all. he's got the memo. Gus Parker's got the memo. Daniel Coy says, I know roughly how many I got, but I keep it quiet. Mikey says, I know I got 2 predictions correct. Shemtam's here. Good afternoon, Shemtam. I hope you're well, sir. Says, hey, Mr. Bossman Jose, hope you're well. I am fine. I'm cool. Bit under the weather. Had a horrid journey to work today, or the journey that never was, because they cancelled trains going into London. So I ended up spending 4.5, 5 hours on a round journey where I got nowhere and came back home in 5 hours without going into the office. I actually ended up working from home today, hence why I was able to do the show today, because I hadn't planned the show, but it's because I had to come back home and work from home that I've done it. Small down to your destiny. Small down. There's another one. Small down to your destiny. And Peter sent all are welcome for the memberships that he has gifted. So 3 people here. So you got Nita's coming in and said thanks to Peter, and Potato Stewart said thank you to Peter as well. That's very kind of Peter. And 3 of the 5 people have come in. Aren't train strikes this Thursday? I don't know about train strikes sometime. I don't know whether there are. All I know is that the trains that I was trying to get into work today all got delayed and then cancelled, so I could not make it into London at all from where I live. And there's a lot of jumping around on different trains and stuff like that. So yeah, but I ended up coming back home. Hence why I'm wearing a shirt today. It's my shirt I would have worn to work. Peter Gagais is saying, Ange out, all players out, all ball boys out. LOL. Quez is saying, good afternoon, everyone. And Mikey Romero is saying, Peter, you're hilarious. Right, so no further ado, we'll start with Predict the Prem. I don't think there's a change in Predict the Prem. I don't think there is. I think the person who was top last week is top this week. And that is the Sheriff. So the Sheriff is top of the league in Predict the Prem. The difficulty we've got with the Sheriff is the Sheriff can't make the shows at 4 o'clock on Friday. And because he can't make the shows at 4 o'clock on Friday, he's not entering the predictions and he's not leaving them after the show. So I don't know how well he would be doing in this, because some people don't pick the same predictions in Predict the Prem as what they do in predictions. Some people do it and some people don't. And I know a few people that don't do it, that pick different, because you're doing predict. Some people do Predict the Prem earlier in the week, or some people have done it weeks in advance. So therefore they change their scores and they're not the same as the predictions. But yeah, the Sheriff has now got a 4-point gap. So you get one correct score in this, you score 5 points. So he's 1 score in front of Kevin Clark, basically. Destiny's gone up into 3rd. Chris Peters and Sir Rob Belchen are all hovering around the 4th and 5th mark. Danny, I think, has jumped into 6th on this. But there's only 7 points separating the top 7. Then you've got Graham in 8th. Nate Pye's 9th. Who else we got here? You've got Ryan, who's here in the show, 13th. Ronnie's 14th. Quez is 21st. I've gone above Quez. I've gone up above 2 or 3 people this week, so I'm quite happy about that. Who else we got that's in the show, that's in the chat at the moment? No, I think that's about it. Johnny Sanchez. Johnny Bethnal Green is 26th. And that's it. I can't see anybody else that's in the show. That's it. But yeah, so the Sheriff leads the way. Obviously, you can see from the matches played, 100 means we've had 10 games. 10 weeks of 10 matches. Although with Predict the Premier, it's only Premiership only. With ours, we've done international breaks, and now we're doing some bonus games. I've not decided what bonus games are coming up this weekend yet, because I've not looked at the fixtures, which I think the fixtures this weekend, if I'm right, I'm not often right, but if I'm looking at the fixtures this weekend, Saturday we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches, and Sunday we have 4. Right, so the predictions this week are only on a Saturday and a Sunday, all because there's games in midweek, so there's only going to be predictions. So I may only do the bonuses may only come out from Saturday and Sunday games. I won't do it on a Friday night game and stuff like that. I only did that because the FA Cup last week, and the week before we did 3 bonuses because there was Premiership games on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But see, there's only 2 Premiership dates, which is Saturday and Sunday this weekend. I may only go for 2 matches. May only go for 2 matches. So that's predict the Prem for people. And then you've got fantasy. And in fantasy, we have the same leader as last week. But like we always do, is we go from top to bottom. And has there been any movement down near the bottom? There may well have been, I don't know. So you've got, there's been no movement at all down the bottom. In fact, three people have gone down. Sorry, 2 people have gone down. Sahil and Kelly have dropped in. The 2 Reds have dropped into 51st. All the others have picked up points, but they've not changed positions. The top 50, though, however, looks like. So Yoris has gone into 49th. Leo's gone into 48th. Ben Kaufman's gone into 46th. Eltel's gone into 43rd. Expected to lose has gone into 42nd. Johnny Sanchez has gone into 41st. Carl Simpson's gone into 40th. Zoe's gone into 39th. Alan has gone into 37th. Graham has gone into 31st. My missus has gone into 30th. Milton's gone into 29th. AJ's gone into 28th. Charlie Biker's gone to 24th. Dave Williams has gone into 22nd. Kuva's gone into 20th. Phil Coy's 19th. Ped 18th. Daniel E's gone up to 16th. Nathan Patiers has gone into 13th. Jess has gone into 11th. Ed M has gone into 10th. Kevin Clark has gone into 6th. Jamie Imber has climbed into 4th. Ryan has jumped into 3rd place. Good old Ryan, 69 points this week. That's not bad. Jamie Imber got 72 this week. And then the 2 at the top remain unchanged this week, and that's Matty's 2nd, and Marlon from Spurs Kings TV is top with 609 points. In saying that, Anthony Herbert, who's down in 12th now, he was a leader for a few weeks, and he's now dropped off to 12th, and he's currently 47 points off the top. So it just goes to show a few good weeks how things change. Just a harmless potato. Did I see you here, just a harmless potato? I think I might have done. But I don't know whether you've changed places or not. I can't remember. Yeah, just a harmless potato. I did see you. Where are you? I did see you somewhere. I'm sure I did. Anyway, that's the FPL. And with the FPL, as you guys are all aware, you can monitor these 2 games. So anything that's online, you can monitor yourselves, so you'll know. Yeah, so you'll know. Let me have a look what people are saying. Right, so Quez Destiny. Right, Gus Park says that late Fulham goal robbed me of a couple of points. Daniel Quez says he had 2-1. I'm not sure. Because as I said, I'm never sure until I check the scores. And when I go back and look at all the results that people have given me, I'm doing pants on fantasy. Keep forgetting. Well, all you got to do is remember that game week's this week Saturday. So I think the idea is on a show on a Friday is because I always remind people on the Friday show and predictions. I always say to people, don't forget your online games, predict the Prem, and don't forget your fantasy Premier League. So Gus Parks should have known not to do favourites in the FA Cup. There were some mad fixtures, some mad results this weekend, and all over, looking all over the predictions that people made. If you look, we had, I think we had, how many people do we have predict this week? So predictions, we had 58 people predict, and from 58 people predict, I'll talk about the stats when we put this up. Just a harmless potato I'm going to look back up. I think, yeah, just a harmless potato. It's Peter that gifted you the membership, mate. Oh yeah, you already said thank you to him. All right, fair enough. FPL is my best bet by the looks of it. There's a long way to go because I actually thought about this today. In the predictions, we're in week 10, just finished, right? But in week 10, remember that we've played, is it 3 weeks or 4 weeks now of bonus predictions? So we've added bonuses to it. We've had two, have we had two? I think we've had two international weeks. We've got an international week coming up next week. So next week will be a bumper one. It'll probably be 15 games next week. It'll be a bumper one because there's no Premiership. So, you know, at the end of the day, the way that I look at it is that you still got you're about you're there you're around 25% of the way through, there or thereabouts, because there are 38 week games for the Premiership. And add into the international breaks that you're going to have as well. Between, we've got one coming up, and then you're going to have some next year as well, just throughout, you know, in March or April or whatever it is. We're going to have some more then. Then you've got the, I don't know if they're still doing the Premiership break where 5 teams play one weekend and the other 5 teams play the other weekend. And during them times, we did bonus predictions because there was only 5 games being played, so we did bonus predictions. So there's quite a bit to play for still, quite a bit to play for. Destiny's saying that he'll catch up. Ryan G says, I've been flying up this one week by week and going down every week in the predictions. Also missed last week in the FPL and couldn't make any changes. Technical problems is just a harmless potato. And then you've got Pain Like Bane says the shirt geese looking dapper, son. Thank you very much. And then just harmless potato says hello, or big up, small down, just harmless potato. Thank you, Peter, for the gifted membership. Screw FPL is what Daniel's saying. I think Daniel might be telling us all that he's got everything in. He's got all his eggs in one basket. I think Daniel's trying to tell us here. Smash that like, says Pain Like Bane. And then people saying hello to each other. Right, so predictions. Let me go to predictions. Where are they? Where did he put them for me? Right, so predictions this week. Predictions this week. Right. I'm gonna have to go game by game and go up and down on this. But you're gonna have to bear with me on this because I haven't got a clue who's where. Right. The first game of the weekend ended up as Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. And the only person that predicted that score correctly was Dan Coys. Dan Coys predicted that 1-0 score correctly. And then the next game of the weekend was Bournemouth versus Man City, and that ended up as a 2-1 victory for Bournemouth. And in this, Peter Kagayas, I don't know what, sorry, Peter Kagayas got that correct. And then on the next page, Gus Parker got that correct. Nick Roundtable Talk got that correct. Vindaloo got that correct. And then the only other person to get that correct was Kate. Kate got that correct as well, which was 2-1. The next game was Ipswich versus Leicester. And for that, it was a 1-1 draw. And the people that got that correct were Ash P, Smithy, David Clark, Potato Stew, Rob Belcher, Paul G, Inner Hype, Matty Kushner, Tigaro, DJ Samuel, Chang, Nige Purecois, and Quez Ali all got that prediction correct. Then the next game after that was Liverpool versus Brighton, which ended up as a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. And in this, the people that got that prediction correct were Spurs GCTV Graham, Nita, Colin Blackshaw, Chris Peters, James Loves Spurs, Paul G, Jesse, Nick Roundtable Talk, and Chang were the ones that got the correct score for that game. The following game was Nottingham Forest versus West Ham, which was a 3-0 victory for Nottingham Forest. And the people that got this one right were Leo. And that was it. Leo was the only person that predicted that one correctly. Fair few oranges there. Fair few oranges, but the only person that got that correct was Leo. And then we had... Have I made a mistake here? What was the score Southampton-Everton? Was it 1? Yes, sorry. Southampton-Everton ended up being a 1-0 victory, right? And from it being a 1-0 victory, the only people to even score a point in this game, because everyone had home, the only people that had home victories, but no one got the correct prediction. But the home victories went to Peter Kagayas, Richard, Rory's War, Jesse, Nick, Lord Rodney Trotter, Vindaloo, Ian Meth, Jim, and Nige Purecois all correctly predicted that Southampton would win, but not by the correct score. And then we go on to Wolves versus Crystal Palace. A lot of us thought we were in the game in this one, and we actually were not. So this ended up being a 2-2 draw. And the people that got this correct on a 2-2 draw were Nita, Colin Blackshaw, both had a 2-all draw. And that was it. They're the only people that predicted, 2 people predicted a 2-all draw. The next game was Tottenham versus Aston Villa. Great win for Spurs. There was a lot of people had 3-1. And from that 3-1, then Maddison scored that late free kick to make it 4-1, which meant that only a couple of people got the correct prediction. And one would be Mikey Romero. And the other was, I don't know, it was 2. Was there one? No, there's only another one. And that was Jim. Jim from Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs, or The Perfect Match. He also predicted 4-1. A 4-1 victory. And then we move on to Man United versus Chelsea, which ended up being a 1-all draw. And that was correctly predicted by me, Dan Coyce, I believe got it one right as well. Yeah, Dan got that right. And then you've got Queen Ellie, got that right. There we are. Queen Ellie got that right. And so did Nige Purecois. So only 4 people in that one. And then we go to the last game of the Premiership of the weekend at the Premiership, and that was last night's game of Fulham 2, Brentford 1. I switched it over after about 80 minutes, and it was still 1-0 Brentford. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to get the prediction. And then I switched it on about 1:45 when I started plugging all the results back in, and realised that Fulham had won 2-1. So the people that got this correct were me, Smithy, Big John, Mikey Romero, Hanno, James loves Spurs. Dan Coys. Jesse. Nick at Round Table Talk. Ange Ball. The Spurs Danalyst. Jim from Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. All got that correct. The next game was a bonus game, the Friday night game in the FA Cup, which ended up as Tamworth 1, Huddersfield 0. And there's big white lines there. The only people to even score points in this were Hanno, Round Table Talk Nick, because Round Table Talk Nick just went 2-1 across the board and ended up getting the home victory because of that. And that was it. You'll see there's a lot of people missing that score because by the time people have put their scores in, the game had already been played or had started or had finished, and therefore I couldn't take people's scores. Usually the people that don't get them in are usually the people that end up leaving their predictions after the show. They're the ones that don't usually get in. Phil Coys, you'll notice there, second from the top. He only predicted one score in the whole weekend. He came into the show, predicted the one score when he was in the show last week, and that was it. And he got a point for it, but he only predicted one score. So well done to the couple of people that ended up getting the Tamworth point. The next game ended up as Curzon Ashton 0, Mansfield 4. That was right. This should have been the Saturday game, but they then, because it should have been, this should have been a Saturday game, but they then transferred this to the Sunday game, and so therefore Curzon and Harrogate ended up being Sunday games. But with the 0-4, I predicted the 0-4, and I believe that I was the only one. There was loads of people that went for the home victories. We had all manner of results, but only one 0-4. We had 0-3, 0-5s. We had 1-2s, 1-3s, 1-4s, but the only 0-4 was predicted by moi. And then we went to another shock. It ended up being Harrogate 1, Wrexham 0. And the majority of people, as you can see, the white is there, went for the away victory. And it was a home win. And the only people to score points in this were Hanno got a point. Richard got a point. Nick, because he went 2-1 across the board, got a point. And that was it. They're the only three people that scored a point. And the last game of the weekend was, and that was yesterday, was Chesham 0, Lincoln 4. When I saw that Lincoln had had a player sent off, that Chesham had had a player sent off, and Lincoln were 2-0 up with about half an hour to go, I thought to myself, they'll get another 3 goals. They'll get another 3 goals. They didn't. They only got 2. So I had 0-5, but it was a 0-4 victory. And the person who had 0-4 was Ronnie. It looks like saved your bacon for the weekend, Ronnie, getting that score. And then you also have, who else got the 0-4? Someone else did. Right. You also have Paul G got 0-4. So they're the people that ended up getting the points. Now, with that, let me see some of your comments. Fucking hell, where are we? Right. What I will say to you, right, guys, is I think right. What I will say to you, 58 people took part. 15 people managed to get double points this week. So that's about 25%. Even with that being said, the average for this week, it was so up and down the scores for people. The average for this week was 7.5 points. So anyone that got 8 points and above, you were average. You were above average from 8 points and above. Anyone below that, you were below average. Anyone below 8 points. So that just shows you that 25% of people got a double points, but the points were so sporadic and so changed. I think it didn't help that you got someone with you had Phil Coys in there with 1 point, but it definitely brought the averages down. Spurs Kings TV says, so we are top of the league. So we are top of the league. So yeah, Marlon is top of the FPL. I've already shown it, Marlon. I'm not sure when you came in, but I've already shown it, and you are top of the FPL. Ryan says Jose 14 points. Damn, there's people that got more points. Don't worry about that. There's people. There's someone that definitely beat that. There was a lot of people with 13. There's a lot of people with 12, 11s, 10s. 5 points for me. Shocking. That's here he goes. That's what I'm talking about. F back in the enemy, like most of you's done. You're surely top now, Daniel, says Ryan. Mikey Romero says 10 points is good for me. Good evening, Colin. I hope you're well. Lord Ronnie Trotter says, damn, I did bad this week. Honestly, looking at the scores, they were everywhere. They were all over the place. I'd had a couple of good weeks, but just 5 this week. Adrian says, Adrian got 4 points, Daniel, so I'm pretty sure you've got to be. Spurs, Dyer says, I thought I had Liverpool to beat Brighton 2-1. Let me have a look. Adrian, no, you went for 1-1, mate. I can only put in what you went for. I mean, if people think that I might have been wrong, I can well, I don't know how I can recheck it unless I rewatch the show all over again. But it was I've definitely got it down as a 1-1 draw is what you've gone for. You actually didn't do many 2-1s last week. You did a lot of away 2-1s. Yeah, okay, just check the stream. You did put 1-1 in. Kuva, it's brilliant. Says bollocks to the predictions yet again. I'm only spitefully watching in the hope that everyone else goes down in flames with me. Stupid game. Destiny says, I had 3-1, but I'm happy Maddison got his goal. Yep. Daniel says Madders cost me points. Adrian, you thought wrong. Oh, I didn't get no worries at all, Driller. No worries at all. The Godfather's really on. Big up Harry Wilson, says Daniel Coyes. Vindaloo says, hello, Jose, and my Spud buddies. How have I done? Vindaloo, this week, mate, you didn't do badly. In the sense that you ended up getting 7 points this week, Vindaloo. The league will reveal a lot because a lot of people have moved around in the league. How's 0 possible? Yeah, Nick went across the board, 2-1 across the board. It's what he does every week. It doesn't mean it pays off, but this week Nick got 15 points by doing 2-1 across the board. But it doesn't always pay off. But you'll see when the league tables, Nick's obviously gone up in the league table, but then when you see the amount of points he's got, you can see that 2-1 doesn't work all the time. It's the same as another person, Adrian, used to do 2-1 all the time, and it just doesn't work. You get lucky one in I don't know 6-7 weeks. You might get lucky, but yeah, he went right through the card at 2-1. Side Dancer's here. It says hi everyone. Gus Park says the only upset I'd done and they got walloped. Table is coming. Vindaloo, big up. How the joke's going. The FA Cup mostly ruined people. Well, I don't know. The FA Cup ruined people in 2 games. However, Southampton, Everton, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal. When I look at the amount of whites that there are so many whites. There's not many people that scored loads of points in them games. So there's quite a few games that threw people. Side Dancer says 4 points. Potato Stew says, haha, 6 points this week. Story of my life, below average. Vindaloo says, I'm not getting fiddled here, being an Arsenal fan. Better write things down, you never know. Who else you got here? Daniel saying, big up Drula. We'll see if my plan worked. I don't know what your plan is, but there's 10 weeks of this to play. Sorry, there's another 3 quarters of the season still to go. So I don't know what your plan is, unless you've got a plan already in place for the next 75% of the weeks. We know it worked, Daniel. You're bloody top. Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to get to top. See, I'd more be worried about what I'm going to do for the next 30 odd week matches. Jose, that's okay. I can hardly do that bad again. Vindaloo, you got the only green that you got, Vindaloo, was the City score, I think. I'm going to try and find you. Yeah, the only green you got was that, but you scored 5. You had 5 other predictions that the teams won, but you didn't get the score right. So you have got points. I got more than 6, so I am cool with that. Yeah, Vindaloo, and I laughed that you put in City loss, but at least I laughed at something caused your joke didn't make me laugh. Right, so going back to the figures again. Right, it's going down to Chris Peters. Right, so just in case, so Jose scored 14, Leo scored 6, Ash P got 9, Smithy got 11, Peter got 7, Dave Clark got 9, Adrian got 4, Big John got 7, Potato Stew 6, Carl Simpson 7, Mikey Romero 10, Spurs GCTV 8, Sir Rob Belcher 5, Ronnie 6, Alan 6, Nita 12, Colin Blackshaw 12, Drula 5, Lee Wiz 5, Chris Peters 8, Gus Parker 7, Destiny 7, Hanno 11, James Loves Spurs 10, Dragon D's Nuts 7, Rory's War 5, Kuva 7, Dan Coy's 13, Paul G 13, Ryan G 5, Jesse 11, Side Dancer 4, Roundtable Talk 15, Ed M 6, Lord Rodney 5, Vindaloo 7, Anthony Herbert 4, Angeball 9, Inner Hype 10, Tot Spurs 5, Matty Kushner 7, Johnny Bethnal Green 2, Bobby K 4, Phil Coy's 1, Queen Ellie 8, Finn 4, the Spurs Danalyst 9, Ian Meth 6, Tigaro 9, David Shear 7, DJ Samuel 5, Kate 8, Chang 11, Jim 11, Nick 3, Nige 11, Grant 6, Quesely 8. And if I averaged all that up, as I said, it ends up being, if I average all that up, it ends up being 7.5. So 8 and above gets you the points in the bag. Right, let me just go back. Jesse's here. Good afternoon, Jesse. I hope you're well. Just done yours. And I'm not sure whether you saw them. Let me see if I can go back and find you where yours are, Jess. There you go, Jess. You got 11 for the first week that you've entered. You got 11, so you've done really well. In saying that, you've got 11 points. You've done well. Gus Parker is saying, yeah, I bet Bournemouth to win. New City would lose. Surprise asked it in make-up points, though. Side Dancer says, honest opinion, are we better without Romero? Do you know what? I'm going to star that, and we'll ask that in a minute. Who else we got? Johnny Bethnal Green. FFS Jose, you put all my scores in back to front. Want me money back. Daniel, well done. 13, it paid off. 11 for Jess is what people are saying. That she'll take that happy day. She's done really well for a first week. Done really, really well. Climbed up the table straight away. I had a bad week in all comps. So I did show the ones earlier, so I can't remember where you are in the other two. But I showed Fantasy Premier earlier, and I showed Predict the Football, but Predict the Prem. But with them, you can search them online anyway. So, right, let me say that. Right, so let me get this out of the way. So from bottom to top, I need to find where all the league tables are. Right, and I need to comments. Because if I don't, here we go. Right, comments off. Right, so these are the bottom 10 as things stand, and there's no effect at all on anybody. The next part of the table is from 83rd to 64th, and in this we've got Dragon the Nuts, who also played for the first time last week. He's gone straight into 79th. Jesse's gone in straight at 74th, and there are 94 people playing, so she's made 19 places straight away. Then you've got Ash P, who's gone into 71st. Adrian Herbert is to 68th. Lord Rodney into 66th. Nick Collison has gone into 64th. Can't see it there. Potato Stew has gone into 63rd. Is it because the ticker tape's there? Hold on, bear with me a second. Let me take the ticker tape off. There you go. Potato Stew is 63rd. The Spurs Danalist has gone into 59th. Jim has gone into 57th. Sai Dancer is into 53rd. Kate's gone into 50th. Grant has gone into 49th. Ange Ball 47th. Queen Ellie 46th. Then you've got, now this is what I'm saying, round table Nick is on 47. Nick the whole season has done 2-1 across the board, and Nick is 41st. So just highlighting, he had a really good week this week. He's got 1/3 of his points in 1 week. All the other weeks that he's played have resulted in 32 points, but he ended up getting 15 in this 1 week. Gus Parker has gone into 40th. Tigaro into 39th. Nita into 38th. Chang 37th. Hano into 34th. Nice Pure Koi's 31st. Smithy into 29th. Mikey Romero 27th. Inner Hype 26th. And Paul G 24th. The next table shows Colin Blackshaw to 20th. Big John 17th. David Shear 16th. Quez Ali 13th. Graham's gone into 10th. I've gone into 3rd. And Dan Coys is our new leader. Dan leads the table by 4 points. So well done to Dan. We have a new leader, and that is Dan. So anyone that's in green, it's because you've moved up. Anyone in blue, it's because it's your first game of the season, or your first predictions of the season. And anyone in white, you've either remained the same or you've gone down the table. So that is the new leaderboard. And Dan Coys is also the first person to break 100 points this season so far. I'm predicting now, and I'm going to check it, but I know. And let me just check it out. Hide that for a second. Go back to the comments. Bear me a second. I'm just going to check something out. So Dan is the first person to break 100 points, all right? And I'm going to look at last year. So last year we had. What did we have last year? Let me have a look at last year. Right, last year would be under week 38, wouldn't it? That would have been the last week. Right, so that would have been May 36, 37, 37, 38. Right. Predictions last year. Predictions last year. Last year, 23 people reached 100 points last year. 23 people, and out of them 23, sorry, we had a total of 119 playing, and only 23 reached 100. I'm predicting now, and I'm going to call it nice and early, right? I predict that I reckon at least I'm going to go for at least a minimum of 40 people will reach the 100 mark this season. A minimum. I think that'll be more. I think it'll be much, much more than that. But we only had 23 last season that reached 100 points or more. I believe that we're going to get well in excess of 40 people. I think 40 is a bare minimum of getting 100 points. Bare minimum. I think that you're going to get a lot more than that. A hell of a lot more than that. So, yeah. Well done to those that have moved up and predicted well this week. All right, let me see what the chat's saying. He's been named in the squad today, Destiny. I don't know who you're talking about that. Who you're talking about. Two sides of a pod. Big up. Like secure, trying to finish a project so I can jump on and say hi. And Anjin. Superb, mate. If you can make it, then that'd be brilliant. I haven't seen you, well, we haven't seen each other for a while, but you're more than welcome to jump on. I wanted to ask you some questions as well. And we've got some people have been putting some comments in it we might need to address as well. The first set of numbers weeks played, Jose. Is the first set the number of weeks played? No. No. If you look at the league table, let me have a look just to make it clear, right? So if you look at the league table, right, the first set of numbers 13. 13 is the amount of correct predictions. So that means bang on. So if you say someone's going to win 2-1 and they've won 2-1, that's a correct prediction. So the first number is the correct prediction. And that's, you times that by 3, that's 39. So that's 3 points for a correct prediction. And a prediction gets you 1 point, which is where the 62 comes in, right? So 62 and 39 equals 101. Yeah. So looking at that, at the moment, Adrian, for a better word, Adrian has predicted the most correct scores so far this season. 17 of them. Yeah, so that gives him 51 points for that. But then he gets 46 just for predicting correct teams. So he ends up with a point. So he ends up with 97. So at the end of the day, looking at this, the person with the most correct predictions has been Adrian. But overall, the person who's got the most in would be Dan, I think. Dan's got 75 predictions. In one way, shape, form, or another, he's got 75. So it depends. The more that you get in the first column, because they're 3 points, aren't they? So the more that you get in the first column, the better off you're going to be. Hope that answers that for you, mate. Daniel is loving it. Daniel is on cloud 9. 9 for Daniel. Look at that. He's well happy about that. Vindaloo says, I would love it if Arsenal fan won this. But Vindaloo, this is about all around general knowledge. It doesn't matter what team you support. You're just predicting scores. So it really doesn't matter what team you support, does it? So it's just you predicting scores. And if you predict scores, it could be anyone that supports any team that wins it. But, it's not, it's got to be an Arsenal fan that wins it. It depends who comes out the best with predictions. So, 63rd perspective. My aim this season is the top 50. It's only second season into a 5-year project. Love it. Quesali says, I'll take it. Ryan G says 11 isn't as bad as I thought. I believe that table is so close. It really is. The whole table is so close. There's going to be lots of swings and roundabouts and lots of changes throughout the season. I remember leading this for quite some time last year, and then I was beaten towards the end by Totspurs, and I led it for ages. And Totspurs came, and ended up winning the whole thing. So anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. And I suppose if you're here for predictions and you do them every week, you stand a better chance because you're going to score more points if you're here every week. If you miss a week or you miss another week or whatever, you might tumble down and it might be a bit harder to catch up. So you got congrats to Dan from Spurs GCT from Graham. You got Dan Coy's well done, mate, from Adrian. Big up, Dan, from Ryan. Vindaloo's fighting talk again. Dan Coy's, I'm chasing you down, mate. Fixed says Destiny 5. I want to speak to the manager. Dan Coy says 100-point collector. Mikey's aiming for a top 15, 20 finish. Do you know what? You'll be able to get higher. I'm telling you, a lot of people will jump. Druid says I'm slipping 13th, 16th, now 18th. It's not on. Fair play, Jose, up to third. Only because of this week, because the people in front of me didn't score as much. So when you've got someone like Adrian only scoring 4 points this week, you got David Clark scoring 8. Chris Peters didn't score many. All the people in front of me didn't score that many. So that's the only reason why I've had one good week. Out of all the weeks I've been playing, this has been my best week. So a bit like Alan Rakdos Madness. He's had one good week this week, but he does 2-1s all the time. You need to keep a track of my scores. Yeah, please do. Good evening, says Tony. Good evening, sir. I hope you're well. Finn's here. Good evening, Finn. I hope you're well. Finn, this week you scored. I don't know whether you saw it earlier. So let me see if I can find you, Finn, and I'll tell you how many points you got this week. Finn. Yeah, I saw your name just pass me by there. Where is he gone? Finn. Finn, this week you scored 4 points, buddy. And 4 points has taken you to. Where's Finn's name? Finn. Finn, you're 45th. 45th this week, mate. Let me see who else we got here. People saying like each other. That is correct, Vindaloo. A few good weeks does change everything. It's going to change completely. 75% of the season to go. Yeah, the thing is, I can't get them onto the community page. That's the problem we've got. I can't get them onto there. You know, there's no way of me getting them onto there before kickoff. I do the shows on Friday, and then I go out to play football. And there's no way that I can do it. I've not got the technology to do it. It's a good friend of mine who actually puts them on the back for me here for this show for today and for when I do them on a Monday. So, Gus Parker says, I haven't had a good week in predictions for about 4 weeks now, says Ryan. Realised it couldn't be weeks played when I got to the top of the table and there was more than 10 on there. Dissect dictator out. Right. So, question that we've got is Side Dancers asked this. What do you guys think? He says, honest opinion, are we better without Romero? That's what Side Dancer's asking. Are we better without Romero? All right, he's saying, honest opinion, are we better without Romero? I've got a thought on this, but I wanted to see what you guys thought first of all. Kuva is saying, I remember that week when I managed the correct score. Gather round, young'uns, and I should tell ye the tale of a hot summer of 1976. Vindaloo is saying, what did Vindaloo is saying? I hope Ange gets sacked too, so we can all cry together. Here we go, says Potato Stew. Right, so the question was, and nobody's giving me an answer, but apart from Destiny. But Destiny, I started a comment that you said earlier, and he says, honest opinion, are we better without Romero? And then you've got Destiny saying depends on which Romero turns up on the day. Gus says, I like Dragsin and I think he could be a fan favourite given a chance. Let Romero go to Madrid. He slows it all down. Right, interesting. Right. For me, the Romero, I get frustrated when Romero slows the ball down. I do think I do get frustrated at times when he slows the ball down, and then when there's cross-field passes that Toby used to ping, I always think to myself that he can do them cross-field passes as well, but he just sometimes holds on to it too long. But the reason why I think Romero still suits us, and I still think that Romero's our best centre back at the club. My opinion, it's only an opinion, and the reason why I think that is because Romero is press resistant. Romero can carry the ball. Romero can pass a ball. It's not often that Romero gives the ball away. Romero looks after the ball really well, and he keeps hold of the ball. I understand a bit about Dragusin. Dragusin's rough and ready. Dragusin's up and at you, and he's an old type of centre back, right? But Dragusin has never played this kind of football before, and he's still learning all this. So for me, for the time being, I would have Romero there. If Romero, I've got a school of thought that tells me that Romero probably may get sold at the end of this season, and that's why we've got Vuskovic coming in as well. So then our centre backs, if we don't go and spend any money at all because we receive a load of money with Romero, the centre backs next season, I expect them to be Vuskovic. I'd expect him to be Vuskovic, Van der Ven, Dragusin, and then you've got to see how Phillips has developed at Stoke. You've got to see if Dorrington's going to come through, or do we need to go out and buy another centre off? I don't know what they're going to do next summer, but I've got a feeling that if Romero goes, they've already got ready-made Vuskovic coming in. And I don't know whether Vuskovic plays on the right side. I think he plays on the right side of defence and not on the left, which means that Dragusin and Vuskovic would be up for the right-hand side. But I still think we need someone to go and play on the left. Don't get me wrong. I think Romero has made mistakes this season. I think fair few of we've conceded 11 in the Premiership, and from them 11, I can remember thinking to myself, the one against Leicester, I felt was his fault. I thought he was ball watching. I felt the two against Newcastle were both Romero's fault as well. The two that we scored there. The Arsenal goal, was Romero meant to be marking Gabriel? I'm not sure. But yeah, Romero's been at fault. In my opinion, it's only my opinion. Although I did say on a previous show that I feel that the ball gets crossed in too early. Sorry, that we don't cut out crosses properly. So when we cut out crosses, when I look at a doggy, so a doggy's running down the channel, the winger or they're trying to cross the ball again. The ball's running down the channel, and as it's running down the channel, if he's left-footed, which he is, he should be going in with his left foot to make the tackle, and he's not. He's putting out his right foot, and to me, that's poor defending. And with Pedro Porro, as I said, with Pedro Porro, however much I like Pedro Porro as well, Pedro Porro, when he has to block a cross, he does the Eric Dyer where he sticks his hands behind his back and he's more worried. He makes himself like a triangle and more worried about blocking, not handballing the ball, and coming and not blocking the crosses. So for me, I still think that Romero is our best defender. He all round is our best defender, but can we do without him? It looked like we've done well without him. But I think he may well get sold at the end of the season. What's he got left after this season? 2 years on his contract. And if you're going to strike and get money, it's when there's 2 years left. I mean, it remains to be seen. We're not the only ones that are looking over our shoulders. You've got people like Liverpool looking over their shoulders, and they've got 3 players that there's been no resolution for. And their 3 players are out of contract at the end of the season. So you've got Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, and Salah. They're all out of contract at the end of the season. If anything, they can all start talking to clubs in 2 months' time. Already, they can start talking to foreign clubs in 2 months' time. So therefore, for us at Tottenham, these players are on long-term contracts, and the ones that are on long-term contracts means that we hold the cards, and so to speak, and we can make that decision as to whether we keep or let them go. Here he is. Come on in when you're ready, boy.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
There he is. Oops, there he is. Oops, there he is. Come on, son. How are you, boy?
I'm good. I'm good. Having a good day. Getting a lot of things done, but I'm getting to hang out with you guys, which is always extra special treat. It feels good
So,
to be back.
are you still working in an hour's time type thing?
No, today. Well, I'm off today.
Okay, fair
Tuesday.
enough. All right. But I'll have to speak to you because I know you're changing your hours, and I'll speak to you. I'll speak to you.
Yep. Sounds good.
What's your opinion on this? Honest opinion, are we better off without Romero?
I was listening to you guys talk about this before I jumped in, and it's a great question. I mean, I think that we're better with Romero because Romero's. It depends. I think so. I think the defender change kind of forces the whole side, the whole high line thing to change a bit. I've noticed that when Dragoshin's in, and maybe maybe I'll need to go back and watch and it'll prove me wrong. But it seems like we move the line back a bit when Dragoshin plays, and I think that whole thing, moving the line back a bit, I feel like suits our team, and maybe we play better like that. Does that make sense? Am I crazy for thinking that? Do you see that?
No, everyone's got a thought on this. I'm just asking what your thoughts are on it. For me,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off at all. I was just gonna say, as usual, I'm giving a non-answer, saying I'm gonna say that's a great question. That's a great question. But I'd have to go back and we'd have to try it for a while and see. We don't have a big enough sample size, and I think that. But yeah, I think playing Dragoshin does drop the line back a bit, which helps the team as a whole and gives less for VDV to do himself. Anyway, rant over. Sorry.
See, for me, like I said, for me, I believe that all-round defender, he's the best defender we've got, and I think he's press resistant. Like I said, carries the ball out. He can step between the lines. He can go into midfield. He hardly ever. He looks after that football. He hardly gives the ball away when he's on the ball. He likes to keep hold of the ball and he looks after the ball. So for me, I think he's our best defender at the moment. However, have we looked out of place without him? No. Dragoshin and Davis both did well. The much maligned Davis, because people hammered Davis.
I know.
Much maligned.
They were so nervous about him.
And last year they hammered him as well, Colin. We did shows galore last year when we had the injuries and we had Emerson and Davis playing at the back. People would absolutely hammer Ben Davis, and I'd be like, okay, he's not Mr. Sexy Football, but he's Mr. Dependable. He just does the
reliable.
He
exactly.
Just does the job. Do you know what I mean? And he came on the other day. He did the job.
So football is just like a bunch of individual things you're doing in a row, and he comes out and he does those individual things correctly. He wins. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like he's perfect, but most of the time he does win the ball when he goes in for tackles. Most of the time he does know where to be. His positioning is good. You know what I mean? He does things correctly. Maybe not everything, and that's why he's not a starter and a 9 out of 10 player. But yeah, I think Ben Davis is good at doing the little things right, and I think that all adds up to a pretty good player.
So that's the answer for your side that we've got. Destiny says that he's quite right. He went for a tackle, didn't he? He says Davis won the ball. Oh no, sorry. He says there Davis won the ball on the halfway line to set up the second goal. Yeah, it was a tackle. The guy went to put it past him and it's come off him, and the ball's then gone forward and we've swept up the pitch and scored our second goal. But yeah, he's Mr. Dependable. He does what he needs to do. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I have nothing bad to say about Ben Davis, and you can go back and check. I never have. I've always been like a Ben Davis fan. So yeah, I think he's not first choice, but I one time I said he was the Milner of our team and got crucified. But honestly, think about it. He's played in multiple positions. There's similarities, the parallels you could draw between the two. So.
And the next question, sort of a question from Destiny, was he's saying who bets Romero will be fit for Argentina Sunday next week? I'm gonna say it now, and I said this the other day. Romero will not be fit to play for Argentina. At the moment, he's rated at best 25% for Saturday's game. Is I reckon at the moment he's about 25%. Looking at the Premier League injuries table, they're assessing him at 25%, and if that's the case, then he doesn't go to Argentina. A bit like Mickey van der Ven didn't go with Holland in the last international break. He don't go to Argentina. Somebody turned around and said, but the South Americans, what they do if they're not playing because of the camaraderie, they like to be with each other. So they were saying that he'd probably fly out to be with the squad, but
Okay.
I don't think he will. Is my personal opinion, because he's Tottenham's asset, right? Because he's Tottenham's asset, I think Tottenham will say to him, no, you're staying with us. We're going to treat you. We're going to put the medicals on you to get you so we know where you are, rather than let you go away and let another medical team look after you. We want to look after you. We want to get you back match fit. We want to know everything that's going on with you. So I don't think, my personal opinion, Destiny, is I don't think he will be fit next week for Argentina. What say you?
I was going to say, if it means that he's fit for Spurs right after that, then I'm fine with that. I'm hoping against hope. What do they have his injury set for? How long is he set out to be injured?
They just said that he's not fit for this Sunday. He's 25. No, so at the moment, the Premier League's injuries table says, and I've got it because I was looking at it earlier. Right. Let me open
Jose pays attention to these things, guys. Take note.
Yeah, I do. I look at all the injuries. Right. So, Christian Romero, foot injury. It says ankle or foot injury. Then it says foot injury. No return date. Currently being assessed 25%. But normally they give you a return date and then give you the assessment and percentage. There is no return date, and he's currently at 25%.
I don't like that. I just want him back soon.
Same as Richarlison de Andrade, thigh injury. Then it says it's a hamstring strain. No return date, currently being assessed, ruled out. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think, when did we play Sunday, didn't we?
We did.
Today's Tuesday, and unless people in the chat know, you know, or anyone else knows, I've not seen any information from our medical team to say, you know, this is the problem that they've got. Like, Richie has got a hamstring tear. It's a grade X, Y, and Z. He will be out for X, Y. I've not heard anything come out of Tottenham yet from these two players. And you know, like they usually say, got to wait for the swelling to come down, got to give it 48 hours. Well,
yeah, but it's been
48 hours would have been today. Would have been
right.
would have been around a couple of hours ago. Would have been 48 hours since the game finished on Sunday. So I think it's one of them ones, Colin. We're gonna have to still wait and hear, basically.
Kind of worries me, but you know, but like we were just saying earlier, we've got cover, we've got players that can play there. It's just not ideal. I like the starting like center backs to play. As you know, I like anybody does. I just want them to play together every match if possible, just to build up that, you know, I want that Yan Toby relationship between my defenders. I know they're a special case. Man, we were so lucky to have those guys. Just throwing this out there, it just popped into my mind. But Yan and Toby, how cool and lucky is it that we were able to get two players that had been playing together side by side for 10 plus years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At different clubs, really was a cool thing. All came together. So yeah, R.I.P. Yan and Toby combo.
You got one there. Big up, Colin. Long time no see from Destiny 5.
What's up, Destiny?
Hiya, Colin. Hope you're well. Hello, stranger from Gus Parker.
Hey, Gus.
You got a Jarl from Drula. A big up from Ryan G.
Big up, brother.
Day off, Mr. Cool. Day off cool for you from Queen Ellie. Yeah. Nita is saying hi to you, to Colin. And then did I see someone else saying hello to you? No, I didn't. I thought I had seen someone else, but no, I haven't. Right. So with that, you've got someone saying, Destiny 5 says Romero was selected for the Argentina squad today. Ryan said Mickey van der Ven was selected for the Holland squad, and then immediately pulled out. After the game, when Mickey got injured, after the game, Holland announced their squad and had Mickey in it. Mickey then pulled out the squad. So I expect the same to happen. If he's got a foot injury, then he's out. If he hasn't got a foot injury, then he's playing for Tottenham. Gus Parker says, another international break. How will I survive the excitement? Ronnie says,
I'm the same way, Gus.
Cuti Romero has has an injury to the ligaments of his right toe. There is no bone injury, fracture, or crack. It's milder than it could have been. He's going to be off for a week or 10 days. A week to 10 days takes you to the first Argentina game if they've got 2 games in that week. It takes you to the first game. 10 days takes you to the first game. Romero was included into the squad. Not doubting it. He might have been included in the squad, but like I said, Mickey Van der Ven was included in the squad and then pulled out. Daniel Coyes, I don't know if you got much of this in America, says these pissing fireworks. I know what you've got today.
We don't do that there. Do that here. I mean, but yeah, Jamie was saying he took his wife to go see some fireworks the other day, and I was like, "What for?"
It's tonight.
I don't know.
It's tonight. Guy Fawkes. Fireworks night is tonight.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Cool.
What do they call today? Guy Fawkes Day or something?
Remember the 5th of November. Shit. Yeah, now I remember that. Yeah.
So it's Guy Fawkes Day or whatever they call it. Nick Roundtable Talk says, "I'm late." Yes,
He's
you are
always
late.
Yeah.
I'll have to come back. I'll have to come back to you, Nick, in a minute. Queen Ellie says Davis, when we made the Champions League, was fantastic. Major blocks. He really did step up for us under Conte.
Absolutely.
My bad. I hit a light though. Who remembers? Oh, here we go. Gus Park says, "Who remembers Fraggle Rock? The Doozers, the stuff they built with. That is what Richarlison was made of." And Eddie saying, "Did you see Rodgers having a word with Diego Carlos as he basically indicated he should have jumped higher to prevent Madison's free kick going in?" No, I didn't, but it was a brilliant goal. There he is. Vindaloo says, "Big up, Colin."
Big up, Vindaloo.
How are you, buddy? Another one.
We both. Actually, we can actually go at Vindaloo this time. He usually has to go at us for our results.
Sorry,
how'd you guys do this weekend, Vindaloo? I'm just kidding. I love you,
Vindaloo. Right, is he here? Round table talk. You got 15 points. You scored the most points this week out of anyone, Nick. Your 2-1s paid off and gave you 15 points this week. But I was saying to the crowd, right, that although that paid off this week, in all the weeks you've been playing, there you are. You're just there. I just need to get rid of my banner. Right, there you are. You've gone up to 40 first place, I believe.
Yeah.
I think. Sorry, let me just get rid of the comment. Right, you've gone into 41st place, Nick. But what I was saying to people was that prior to this, you had 32 points. So you've got 1/3 of your points in 1 week. So your 2-1s hasn't paid off every week because a third of your points came this week. But still a good jump. You got the most this week, most points, but you're up into 41st, brother. And then what I needed to ask is, Colin, when are you, your mum, and Jamie going to make an appearance? Because you haven't done it for a few weeks.
I know, and I'm really suffering because of it, points wise. No, I plan to be here this Friday, if that's cool.
Good man. We have missed you, Colin.
I've missed you guys back.
Right, Ryan G says, "Yeah, this is the problem we get. My dogs are barking like mad at the minute, and one of the cats has run off upstairs. He's terrified." This is what happens tonight. Peter is here saying, "Look, hi, Colin," from Peter Kagais as well.
Hey, good to see you, Peter. Hope you're good, buddy.
He's kicking off at Ryan's. Then he says, "These fireworks are like bloody bombs going off."
Jesus, man.
Days
like today, that sucks for. Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say that sucks for like people that have aversion to loud sounds, like soldiers and stuff. You know, hope everybody's okay with the fireworks. That's a bummer. We don't do that here. It's totally foreign to me. So
yeah, I was saying when I started. Yeah, I was saying when I started the show that my dogs are settled at the moment because they haven't started. But it's not just tonight. When people go and buy fireworks, because the shops need to just sell them anyway. The fireworks started 2 weeks ago when they first went on sale, and they've been nearly every night. Tonight's going to be the majority of them, but then we're still going to get them going off tomorrow. They'll still go off on Friday, Thursday. They'll still be going off on Saturday. They'll still be going off on Sunday. So it's for pets, it's an absolute killer for pets. So yeah, I feel for every single one of you that has pets because I know exactly what you're going through. Daniel Coy says, "Kuba, he's a Wolves fan, poor old Ryan. He needs some joy in his life, mate. Let him have the predictions league." People, Kuba's jumped. Cooper says people only seem to focus Romero's bad games and ignore he's been a fantastic in the rest.
Fair. That's
Yeah.
a fair statement.
Yeah, but like I said, for me, he is the best defender we've got, and there's a reason why he's press resistant. He can pass the ball. He can break the lines. He can do all that, and he can defend as well. You know, so and there's a reason why I think he's the best. Peter guys to say Peter. I don't know if you haven't been around, Colin, but Peter and there's some others, but Peter especially has been Ryan G and Wolves' biggest fan. Every week we do predictions. Peter backs Wolves to win a game because he wants to stand with his brother in arms with Ryan, and each time Wolves let him down. And Peter wants to know when Wolves are going to turn up. And now he's saying, Ryan, if you can't be something, I give up. Is that what your next game is? Then it must be.
Good luck, guys.
What's the celebration for? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. You know that old like remember the 5th of November. You said it was called Guy Fawkes.
It's when Guy Fawkes they did the gunpowder plot to blow up Parliament and whatever many centuries ago. So that's why they do it.
We need to learn our British history better. I think, Nick. I don't know anything about it.
You got Ryan G says Southampton at home. Right, Ryan, Tottenham is a good team to follow. Peter's coming in with the jokes. Right, I'm going to give this one to you. Vindaloo's asked this question. Silly question that he keeps asking, but we might as well humour him.
Do you think he would finish with Arsenal? If so, why? I mean, it's definitely possible. We're at a point in the season where it's super possible still. We're kind of on a good, like, nice upward trajectory. It's not impossible. It's just going to come down to consistency. And was it you? Somebody was saying it was you, like you were saying, winning away from home. Yeah, it was definitely you. I think if we can start doing that, then yes. But yeah, that's totally stealing your answer. But sometimes you say smart things. When people say smart things, you soak them up. You're like, aha, that's now a thing I believe. And then but as Jose always says, yeah, if we went away from home.
What I'll say to people is, and I'm going to throw this back to you and to everyone else, right? Is how close do you think the Premiership is this season? Because I called it at the start of the season, and I said at the start of the season, the Premiership's going to go like that. It's going to shrink bottom to top, right? And all the teams are getting better. You're not going to go out and whoop teams 6, 7, and 8s every bloody week. It won't happen. Teams are getting better. Teams are nicking points off each other. Every team in the Premiership has lost at least one game already. Some have lost 2. Some have lost 3. Some, like us, have lost 4. But then again, if I'm looking at the league table, yeah, Liverpool are on 25, Man City 23. Then you've got Forest 19, Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa, all 3 are on 18.
Do you think do you think Forest are going to be able to sustain that? Sorry.
Well, can I just say, I'm going to say it. I want someone to point out what's the anomaly. Can someone point out the anomaly for me, right? What's the anomaly between Liverpool, Man City, Forest, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Aston Villa, the top 6? Who is the odd team in the top 6?
Well, Nottingham Forest, of course.
Okay, you're saying Nottingham Forest. What's people in the chat? Who's the odd team out of the top 6 at the moment? It's Liverpool, Man City, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Arsenal, Aston Villa. Who's the odd team out of them 6? So Colin said Forest. Ryan G says Forest. Anyone else with Forest or any other team?
It has to be Forest, guys. Yeah. Come on.
You're saying Forest.
Yep.
All right. Round Table Talk says Forest. Ed says it's Forest because they're not in Europe. Round Table Talk says Forest again. Do you want the answer? Paddy Hartnett's given the answer. Arsenal are the odd team out. I give you Liverpool 6 Champions Leagues. I give you Manchester City 1 Champions League or European Cup. Nottingham Forest 2 European Cups. Chelsea 2 European Cups. Arsenal 0. Aston Villa 1 European Cup. The odd team out of the 6 is actually Arsenal.
Interesting. Yeah. Thanks.
There we go. It's absolutely Arsenal. And look, you got Kuba. Look, so big up Colinho.
Kuba, I still haven't seen you in forever. It's good to see you, buddy. I hope you're well. I hope the family's good. Yeah, good to see you, Coops.
So yeah, like I was saying, you've got down 3 teams on 18. So that's Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa. Then you've got Tottenham and Brighton on 16. Then you've got a train of Fulham, Bournemouth, Newcastle on 15. Brentford 13, Man United 12. At the end of the day, these teams are. If I look at Brentford, from Brentford are 2 games away, two games, 2 victories of getting into the top 4. It'd be in 3rd place because at the moment Forest are on 19, and all the teams on 13, which is Brentford, 2 victories gets them to 19 points. So, and this is what I'm saying. I said at the start of the season, Colin. I said I felt that the table was shrinking, and I didn't think it was like going to be outright. It's going to be Man City are going to walk it. At the start of the season, I said it's going to be a lot closer between teams, and in these first 10 games, people are going to nick points off each other because we've seen what's happened in the first 10. So people will nick points off each other. So it's not out of the the realms that Tottenham could finish higher than Arsenal this year. It depends on a lot of things.
There's literally a 2-point difference right now on the table.
That's correct. There's a 2-point difference, but it could be a lot of different things. It could be down to squad size. It could be down to injuries. It could be down to red cards, suspensions. It could be down to mentality. It could be down to sending offs. There's a load of different variables you've got to take into matches, and a lot of different things can happen. Do I think Nottingham Forest going to stay in the top 3? No, I do not. But they're there on merit at the moment. The teams that they've played gives them points that they're on. Forest have actually won 5, drawn 4, and only lost 1 this season.
Wow.
The only teams to lose 1 game so far in the first 10 are Liverpool, City, and Forest. I've lost 1 each.
Shit, you're right. They do deserve to be there. Yeah.
But what I will say to you guys is that Tottenham have got the 2nd best goal difference in the Premiership at the moment. And at the moment, Tottenham have conceded 11 goals, which is the same amount as Manchester City, same amount as Arsenal. Right? The only teams that are better than them are Newcastle have conceded 10. Forest have conceded 7. And Liverpool have conceded 6. But as for top goal scorers, Tottenham Hotspur have got the most Premier League goals. They've got 22 goals at the moment. Now, I'm not a stats person. I like the eye test. A bit like you, I think, Colin. You like the eye test instead
much
of
preferred. Yeah.
Football was never played on paper, and it was never played on spreadsheets either. So for me, I'd much rather go on the eye test. And on the eye test, looking at the eye test at the moment, and what I'm seeing is, I see at the moment if I looked at the last 2-3 matches, I see one team going upwards and the other team sliding down at the moment in the last games. But this can all change week by week. This can change.
Yeah, and it will a lot. You know what I mean? That's part of what I mean. I don't want to hate on anybody, and definitely don't let me tell you how to be emotionally. But I'm just saying a lot of times when people are like having a big cow this early in the season about where we're at in the league or how we're performing or you know what I mean. I just kind of wish everyone could take a step back, realize we're right in the mix. No reason to go full nuclear. And you gotta be blind and not see the progress. If we could play every game like we did the second half of the match against Villa, then we would be unbeatable. That's the team. That's the team Ange wants. That's the football he wants us to play. So yeah, I mean, if we start doing that, sky's the limit. Obviously, we're not. I don't think going to win the league, but that would be cool, right? Maybe next season.
Yeah.
After he wins us a cup or 2, and gets us into the Champions League. Do you think? Okay, so I'll ask you a question, Jose. Do you think that, you know, and you've got, I know injuries have to be kept in mind, but could you see a timeline where Tottenham get both champions, you know, win both the Europa League and get top four, or do you think it's one or the other?
Do you know, it's so unpredictable this season. And I said this at the start, and I'm saying this now still. You know, there are teams out there that can take points off each other. There are teams out there that could go on runs if you want. You know, at the end of the day, you know, anything's possible for anybody, not just Tottenham. For anybody, anything's possible. You just need to get on a run. I mean, at the moment, you're asking me about Tottenham. Now, I heard on the radio earlier that someone was being asked the question: are Liverpool chasing the league, or are they chasing the Champions League? Because Liverpool sit either first or second in the Champions League at the moment, and they're top of the Premiership. Aston Villa are top of the Champions League at the moment and sitting wherever they are, fourth or fifth or whatever. You know, at the end of the day, you're there. You're there by design in the league. You know, and it depends. I did say before the game, and I think I might have said it on yours on the weekend. For me, I felt kind of weird about Aston Villa because I thought to myself, Villa hardly rotate in the games, but in the Europe and the league games. They rotated a couple of times in the Carabao Cup, but they hardly rotate. And was it by design that they thought to themselves, what we'll do is we'll go full pelt, try and get as many points on the board as quickly as possible, and then worry about fatigue and stuff like further down the line. And that's one way of doing it. But then by looking at it now, with the way that we dismantled them in the second half, you know, at the end of the day, no disrespect to them, and I don't care because they're not my team, but they looked out of puff by the end of that game, didn't they?
Yeah.
They looked out of puff, and that's where they're not changing their team around, you know. So at the end of the day, everybody, Colin, anybody, you're asking me about Tottenham, but I'm talking about everybody now. Anybody that's in these competitions can go for one or two or whatever. It's hard, don't get me wrong. It's really, really hard. I mean, I remember Liverpool getting nowhere in the league, but winning 3 cups. I think they won a European Cup and the League Cup and the FA Cup in the same season back in 2001 time and all that. So, you know, some teams are able to pull off one or more than one, but realistically, in the last few years, I mean, you look at last season, only one team won the FA Cup, one team won the Carabao Cup, one team won the league. The team that won the league didn't win the Carabao and the FA, did they? Do you see what I mean? It was one team that won each trophy type thing. And, you know, this season may be similar again. So it's hard to win a trophy, Colin. So when people say, yeah, that team wins cups all the time, no. The only team that wins cups all the time were Manchester City. Other than them, right, because they win a trophy every season, right? Other than them, it's difficult to win a trophy because, you know, it's just
there's a lot of factors involved, and it's just one-off matches, and for sure. No, I get that. What weirdly though, I think what makes it more difficult also makes it easier, if that makes sense, than winning a league, because or you can maybe luck your way into it. I mean, there is a certain amount of luck, you know what I mean, in that style of you know, tournament, I guess you would say, or you know, but and I think that little bit of luck sometimes is what you need. I mean, some teams get especially lucky in the draws, and I think we've been pretty good. We've beat some baddies. We beat Manchester City. I didn't talk to you after that win, by the way. I was really happy. I know they rested a couple of people. Most importantly, the robot, Erling Haaland. But yeah, I mean, so I was seeing really positive signs during that game, at least parts of it. How did you feel about the City match?
When Tottenham play at home, I have no fears whatsoever about results. I don't fear anybody when we play at home, because at home we seem to be a different beast to what we are away. So I never fear any home games. So when we played Man City, regardless of who Man City put out, right, it didn't matter who they put out. I felt confident of beating Man City in the cup. Right now, by the same token, I hear people turn around and say, it was their A team, their B team, their C team, their D team, and everything else I kept hearing from people, right? But I heard this from a lot of people. Now, all I'm going to say, right, is they used, I knew this on the night as well, they used 16 players on the night, right? Ortega, although he's a number 2, he's a smart number 1 keeper anywhere else. They had Nathan Aki, Ruben Diaz, Josko Guardiola, John Stones, Rico Lewis, Ilday Gundogan, Mateo Kovacevic, Mateus Nunes, Savinho, Foden, Bernardo Silva. 12 of them 16 players have been regulars in the team this season. The only ones that haven't been regulars that played were Jacob Wright, Nick O'Reilly, James McAtee, and Simpson Pusey. Right. So 4 of their subs. So two youngsters they had in the first half, and 2 of the other youngsters they brought in the second half. Other than that, they played 12 of their 16 were players that are in first team and have been involved all around the first team in the Premiership this season. So people can't tell me they sent out a C team because they didn't. But anyway, just wanted to prove a point there.
I agree. No, I 100% agree.
Regardless, Colin, who they sent out, I was confident. Against Aston Villa, I was confident before the game. I went for a 3-1 prediction. I was confident. The reason why I was confident is because Tottenham at home are a different beast. Now, I'll reiterate this again. You and I are football supporters and fans. So are the people in the chat, right? So when someone like Pep talks, when Unai Emery talks,
good evening.
when Thomas Frank talks, when Howe talks, right, and every single one of them has said Tottenham are absolutely monstrous. They're big in the press. Their transitions are super quick. You know, X, Y, and Z. And they're saying these people are top pros in their game, right? And they're saying this about Tottenham. They're not just saying it to rub people's egos and that. They're saying it because that's what they believe in. They're saying it because they've got to set their team up to try and nullify what Tottenham do, right? And I don't think that there's enough kudos given to our own team by the fan base about what we do. What do we do? What is it we do to affect games? You know, and I don't think we give our boys enough, or our team enough of a boost, and say, do you know what? We got good players. Do you know what? We got a good team. We don't get enough. We don't say enough of that. Do you know what I mean? And I think
they're human beings, and that type of thing helps. I mean, it's good to know that you're believed in and that people trust you and are happy to have you. And yeah, man, everybody's a human being with an ego and with feelings. I know that's weird to say, but you know what I mean. And yeah, you're right. It's a very good point you made.
Peter's gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you, Peter. And they've gone to the sheriff of TTID, so that'd be Mark. It's gone to the front wheel skid, and I think that's Johnny's partner.
Yeah.
Front wheel skid. Side dancer, Chris Lonnie, and Paul G. So I know that Side Dancer was in the chat earlier. I haven't seen the others here. I know that Johnny was in the chat earlier. But if you guys have received the membership, it's because of Mr. Kagayas. So please thank Mr. Kagayas on your way in.
Thank you, Pete.
And then you've got just joined us. What do we see? You've got the City match wasn't so much about the team as the attitude. Pep made it clear he wasn't interested. They didn't want it, and not bringing on Haaland when they needed a goal was telling.
I think those professional players that were out on the pitch wanted it, but no team wants to lose.
Peter's come here. Davis would have had Haaland in his pocket.
Shit, I don't know. He might have. That's hilarious. That matchup is the funniest thing I could ever think of, actually. Wow.
And Gus is saying, we'll see where we are when the league match comes around in a couple of weeks. Pep defo won't be chucking that. Sorry, can I just go back to, I've just noticed, Peter has been really kind and gifted some memberships out to people. So thank you very much to Peter. But what I will say to people is stick your gifting on, because it's personal preference. If you don't have it switched on your own account, then it means that you wouldn't be able to receive one of these memberships. You need to switch the ability to accept or to have memberships, because if you switch that on, then you may be a lucky recipient from the really generous fan base that we've got. So I'm just going to let you know that, because I've just seen a few people that are commenting that I haven't got. Right, J Max here, and J Mac is saying, "Big up Jose and Colin. Hope you're
What's
well,
up,
mate.
Jay?
Hope you're
Hope
well."
you're good, buddy.
Nye says we are too down on our players too often. Says
Yes,
Nige
sir.
there.
Yeah.
J Max saying you're spot on with that point, Jose. And Ed M says City sure attacked a lot and took shots for a team that didn't want to win. Mikey Romero, Mikey says, guys, we win this weekend and I'll start to believe, lol. We don't play well against the lower sides. Right. Before we go and address that, Colin, I want to ask you, it is 48 hours and a bit on since the game at the weekend.
Mhm.
Now that you've, I mean, I saw what your comments were after the game.
Yeah.
Because I spent about half an hour or so with you after the game before I had to go and have dinner. But now that you've had time to reflect, let's so to speak, it's been 48 hours plus. What are your thoughts now? Are they the same as what they were on the day, or has more come to your fore? Or
The more I think about it, I think I was a little too hard on the first half. The first half wasn't as bad as I made it out to be. Still wasn't great, obviously, and there were individual errors, but I think that I could see where things were going. But yeah, no, I'm still feeling the same about it for the most part. I think it was very well handled tactically, which is something that Ange gets lambasted for, is his tactics and his in-game ability, and the subs that he made. Still happy with those. The rotation that we are currently. I mean, sitting Madison, that's crazy, but was so effective and necessary. So yeah, I mean, I'm feeling the same way. Just happy for Ange. Hopefully we can keep this up. I really like the look of the second half. If we can play like that, we can play against anybody, and I think that's the goal. So yeah, sky's the limit, man. To dares to do.
so there are different ways of winning games, Colin. So, for instance, against Manchester City, we played some sublime football in patches. We did play some sublime football, but then and there were swathes of the game as well where we had backs against the wall. We had to defend, so you had
Yeah.
to win. We had to win differently. It wasn't just about the goals that we scored. We then had to do the defending the other side of the game as well. So that was that game. And then against Aston Villa, my personal opinion at the time, and there's no reason for me to change that now, even reflecting 40 hours later, I said at the time, I felt people were being too harsh on that first half, because I said to myself that it was two teams trying to nullify each other, right? And they were throwing punches, and it was like it's like who's winning this on points, because the punches were being thrown by both. I thought we were very unlucky to be 1-0 down at half time. Although they hit the cross, did they hit the crossbar of the post in the first half as well? But regardless of that, I thought that we were unlucky to be 1-0 down at half time. But then in the second half, it completely annihilated them and destroyed them in the second half. Not only just the goals, just with the all-round play.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to win differently. There's not many teams that are going to go out there and attack, have the possession of the game, and be at it for 90 minutes. This is the Premier League. There's not many teams that can be at it for 90 minutes. I know that I keep asking for it, and I suppose what I'm asking for is I'm asking for two halves, right?
Yeah.
I'm not stupid and naive to say we're not going to have the whole 90 minutes, but do you get me? The 90 minutes is two halves, but I want to have the majority of the first and the majority of the second half.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that then?
No, I mean, I agree. I think that there's only a certain amount of gas in the tank for these guys. You know what I mean? And you're 100% right on that. Um, yeah, exactly. It's like you were saying, a point system. And it did feel like a boxing match where we were feeling each other out. it's funny, they got the first blow in, probably thought they had it, and then we came back after halftime and had figured, you know what I mean, had figured them out. You know, had used that one punch we took to the chin. We used to figure out they like to, you know, throw a right hook, and we started dodging it. You know, it's yeah, I think it was an intelligent game. It seemed like I feel like Ange might be doing the thing that that we did a lot with Poch, which was trying to be so much more fit than other teams. I guess Conte too. Everybody wants to be the most fit, I guess, but I think Ange has us a very fit team, and so I think at the end of matches too, we can really like kind of kick it up a notch and throw teams off that way. And I think that yeah, I think we did that effectively. So yeah, and I'd say we even though we were a goal down in the first half, I don't know. I'd give the first half a draw, you know, as to who won the first half, but we definitely, I mean, no question on the second. So yeah, agreed.
It was
Basically just a
point.
long-winded say of agree.
It was points in the first half and knockout in the second half.
Exactly. Yes.
So Colin, do you right? At the time of the game itself, watching it live, I thought to myself, and I made this comment. I don't know whether I said it on your show. Elephants have long memories.
Yeah.
I saw Romero, I saw Porro, I saw Bentancur going in for some tasty challenges, and I'm thinking to myself, these boys haven't forgot what happened last season and what happened the season before. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
No, yeah, definitely. Matty Cash was on the end of some rough tackles. And he honestly, I liked that he just kind of got up and got on with it most of the time. I think he expected it and was prepared. But yeah, we went in just we were pretty aggressive on the whole, all over the pitch, and I mean especially guys like Benton Gore, and yeah, we definitely did not. You know how sometimes Tottenham is thought of as like a weak team. I feel like those guys are doing everything they could to get that image to go away, and yeah. I mean, what did you think?
Yeah, like I said, I think that they just elephants have got long memories because they remembered what had happened and they really went for the crunch, didn't they?
Oh man, absolutely. It was good stuff though. It's
But
the type of
that's how he got
type of
injured though.
football I like.
But that's how Romero got injured for making that tackle.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it does come with risks playing football like that, but I enjoy a bit of it, you know. Um, but hey, I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back. I know it's an awkward time, but I'm trying to wait. But I'll be right back.
It's cool. Vindaloo, it says big up. Also, Angus has come and he says, "Hola Jose, Arteta out, Cronky out." Vindaloo said he had to go. Got to go, lads. Have a good one, peace. But then he says, big up Angus, Arteta out, all of them out, peace, bro. Kuva is what the F. Just realised I skipped back ages. I saw your comment, Kuva. You've got Arsenal, all the others have won the Champions League, European Cup. You're right, that is the correct answer. Ed M is saying, I thought we strangled them in the first half and almost totally stopped them getting any rhythm in their passing. It was just frustrating we couldn't pick at an end ball. Second half, we killed them. What I'd say about the second half as well that I noticed, Ed, right, is in the second half, I noticed that we won more of the second ball. We weren't doing that in the first half, but we did it in the second half. We won more of the second ball. So, you know, um, for that, I think, no, see you. So for that, I think, you know, that's why we won the second half because of that, because we won more of the second ball. So we were making the first challenge or going for the first challenge, and the ball was dropping, and they were invariably picking up in the first half. But in the second half, then we ended up doing it. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's what I thought. Then you've got Arteta in from me and Lego Head in from me. I'm just saying that because they're all saying they want Arteta out.
Oh wow.
What are your
Funny.
thoughts about this Thursday about Galatasaray?
I am honestly, and I'm probably setting myself up to be hurt here, but expecting a win. I don't know. I mean, I imagine we'll do a fair bit of rotating, but also I think that there is. I know that with the way that the format of the tournament is this year, that we don't have to. You know, we're in pretty good shape right now for looking like going to the next round already. So I don't think we'll send like a full strength squad. I don't think it'll be too dissimilar to some of the squads we've seen. I hope that we can finally give some time to wow, his name's gonna escape me, but the striker that we've got, is it Lancashire? Will Lancashire?
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally give him some time, maybe. That would be nice. I would love that actually. And but I am expecting it to be super hostile, and I don't know if all of the youngins are ready for that. There might be a bit of a shock there, but I don't know. I think we're in a good spot. I think we're in a good patch. We're in a good run of form. I think we'll continue it. I think we'll get a win. I'm not saying it'll be easy. The scoreline it'll probably be within one goal, but I think we'll get a win there.
I'm just looking up to see if I can see this their last game they've played, what their score was, and what kind of lineup they had. So I'm just trying to look at that while you were talking. So
smart, yeah. I'll pull up the
trying to
same
see if I
thing.
can find it. Right, so it's not on that one. Did they play Friday night then?
So I'm really stupid. We're playing against I know it's a team, a Turkish team. It's Galatasaray, right?
Gala, yeah. We're playing against
Yeah.
Gala. So
Gotcha.
they didn't play Friday, Galatasaray. Did they
It looks
play
like
Saturday?
Yes, they did, against another team I can't pronounce. Alanyaspor?
Alanyaspor.
Yep, and they got a 1-0 win. 1-0
Okay,
victory.
right. I'm just gonna go to Alanyaspor. This bloody comes up. Belgium, China, Czech League, Danish, Dutch Eredivisie, French League, Greek Super League, Indian Super League, Irish Cup, Norwegian, Polish, Portuguese, Saudi, Swedish, Credit Suisse, Turkish Superliga.
I'm trying to think which one of those I could make it in.
Did they play? They didn't play Saturday then, because I've just gone right through that. Saturday, there's no result for them, so they must have played Sunday.
Yeah. They haven't played in a good. They've had a bit of a rest. It looks like. Oh wait, sorry. That was
Sunday.
Hold on. So their last match was the 28th.
Okay, so they haven't played for ages, so they've not played in the league at
Whoa.
all.
Right, I don't believe so. There's been, so after that, after the 28th, they're scheduled for a match on the 10th, and so they must be in some kind of a break in their league, because
They must have done this because of the Champions League, I would have thought. Sorry, because of the Europa League. So the 28th was the last time they played, so they haven't had a game this week.
And they actually, and I was wrong about who they played. I looked at, they actually played Besiktas and won 2-1.
2-1. Right. So in that lineup that night, right, they had, their team was Muslera in goal. They had a back four. They set up differently. They set up with a back four of Ian, Sanchez, Bakachi, and Yilmaz. Then the two in front of them were Torreira and Gabriel Sara. The two in front of them were Salali and Argun, and the two in front of them were Icardi and Osimhen. And off the bench, Batshuayi came off the bench. Mertens came off the bench.
That's a sick team.
Jalyoui and Balatachi. The people that didn't get off the bench were Ziyech, Victor Nelson, to name a few. Right. Do you know what? I'm going to turn around and say that I'm kind of conflicted here, Colin. Right? Galatasaray away from home.
Tough.
Their stadium is going to be, their stadium is bigger than what it was before. So they've gone from a 30,000 to a 50,000 stadium, so I've been led to believe.
Shit.
And with that, I'm looking at Tottenham's last two games, and then I'm looking at Tottenham playing Ipswich on Sunday. And I know we've got an international break after that, but part of me says, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Part of me says, go with a weakened side, because we already have 9 points. Don't let some players fly out there, because it's going to be a game, they're 2 hours in front of over here. So by the time you get back, it'll be early hours of Friday morning, and then we kick off on Sunday at 2 o'clock, you know. So for me, I'm thinking to myself, we should leave some players at home and not even fly them out there, right?
Yeah.
And send out a more weakened team than what you normally would do, right? And take whatever happens. Now, unlike other people, I'm not scared of Galatasaray on the pitch, because a lot of the players that play for them. So when you said wow, their team, Icardi, why is Icardi not playing in one of the top 5 leagues?
Fair.
Why is Ziyech not in the top 5 leagues? Why is Batshuayi not in the top 5 leagues? Why is Dries Mertens not in the top 5 leagues? It's not as if Turkey pay the biggest wages as well, because they don't, right? They
Yeah,
don't pay the biggest
no,
wages.
no.
Why
They
is
just give you an
Davidson
opportunity.
Why is
Sorry.
Davidson gone from Tottenham and not playing in the top 5 leagues? Why is Victor Nelson not playing in the top 5 leagues? I mean, I can look at all these players and I can say why they're not in the top 5 leagues.
But I can also guarantee you that they'll hurt us. That there will be players on that team that aren't in the top 5 league that'll hurt us. Whether or not they score, but there'll be players that definitely. I think there are players on this team that could play at that level, maybe do play at that level, but are I don't know, big fish in a small ponding it, or maybe they're maybe the market just wasn't the way it needed to be for them to get a move to a better club. I don't know. I'm not saying I know a lot of them are kind of like quote unquote washed up, but Icardi is a good player on his day. Osimhen's a good player on his day. And then I Batshuayi, that's a name I haven't heard forever. I don't know a thing about him. And then
Michy
Dries Mertens,
Batshuayi used to play for Chelsea.
Chelsea, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was on loan. He
informed.
was on loan at Forest and places like that. He's been on loan at loads of clubs. Never got his chance at Chelsea, and Chelsea ended up selling him. And the only people that would buy him were Galatasaray.
It just I don't know. I don't. And then Dries Mertens, good player. I just think that you don't have to be great. Okay, so to be a professional and to play in a top 5 league, you have to be great every game, every week. To be a top player in one of these leagues, you just have to be great or good some of the time. And if that some of the time is when we play them, then they'll, what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I just think that there's some of those players that could do some damage against us. Will
So
they? I don't.
what are you doing? What are you doing then on Thursday, Cole? Are you going in with a weakened team? Are you going in with a stronger team? Because I was talking about going in with an even weaker team than what we possibly would have done. But then by the other side of my head, it says to me, do you know what? All right, we've got to play Galatasaray. Then we've got Ipswich at home, and then we've got a 2-week break. So should we just go strong for the hell of it, right? And knowing that we've got a home game on Sunday.
I'd like to continue the winning streak.
Okay.
So I would go strong. Well, not strong, not full strength. Sonny wouldn't travel. And my hopes. So I want Sonny to be an every other game type of fella.
Yeah.
And preferably later in games, but that's not going to happen because he's captain, so he'll start anyway.
So if we went, so Ronnie reckons Forster in goal, Gray at right back, Dorrington and Davis at centre backs, Udogie at left back, a midfield of Biss, Sarr, Bergvall, and a front three of Werner, Lancashire, Moore.
All right. It's not too bad, I guess. Oh, I froze.
Edem is saying that he would go for Vicario, Porro, Dragusin, Davis, Udogie, Bentancur, Bissouma, Madison, Kulu, Son, Werner.
Holy shit. Ed M, my guy. He's doing it out there. How many matches can Sonny play? Well, that would have him not playing against Ipswich then, for sure. But maybe I see Ed thinking that maybe since it's a lower.
Remember, he came off after 55 minutes at the weekend.
That's true. Maybe the plan was to bring him because he's our most experienced player for the most part. Actually, I think him and Ben Davis, but he's like our most experienced player. He will have more experience than a lot of the guys in playing in like this type of environment, and also when he's good in patches, he's good. He's really good. He's great. So, how do you feel about Son? Has Son won his way back into your heart? I still feel like he is starting to show decline, but a lot of people were telling me I was harsh.
No, you're not. You know, mate. I've done shows with you for over a year, and you know exactly what I've said about Son all the way through. I don't think I can add any more to what I've said all the time.
I should know if it had changed. I didn't know if any of his recent performances had changed your mind on him.
Sonny's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not doubting he's a good player. But if we're looking to progress, right, beyond this season, then what we need to be looking at that. Who do we bring in? Who improves us over the next 2 years? And that's what we need to be looking at. Who's going to improve us over the next 2 years? And
For
for me, I don't think Sonny's that man that improves us.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I'd rather, if you're going to keep Sonny, right, around, you keep him around and he gets less game time than what he's got at the moment, and you blood in someone, you blood in newer people, or you buy newer people or whatever. But in saying that, at half time, sent a message out saying, "Is he fit? Is he fit? Is there something wrong because he's not gone past Cash once?
Yeah, I was
Not
thinking the
once.
same thing.
He hasn't taken him on once. And no sooner I said that, he comes on the second half. First ball he receives, he whips that lovely cross in. That was a world class cross. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
The way he got the whip and bend, and it's beating the keeper all ends up as well. And then Brennan scores. And then as soon as he'd done that, I thought to myself, right, Sonny looks like. But then we did make the change, because the subtle change we made is that Sonny weren't going past the defender, was he, at all in the first half? But then a
No.
doggy wasn't going down. And in the second half, we sent a doggy outside of Son, right? And so you're not inverting, you're actually overlapping instead. And when we did that, and he did that more than once, the doggy, and that kind of throws the players. It gives him a different dynamic to defend against.
Sure.
But as soon as Sonny done that, when I saw his number go up, I was like, what? The man's just putting that cross, and I'm just like, what are you doing taking him off? But Postecoglou, who has no in-game management whatsoever.
No, he doesn't know how to manage games. All he does is do training, and then he turns up and
doesn't have no in-game management whatsoever. I mean, this is what I was saying. I was on a show on Sunday night on Savers, and I turned around, and it was Dan, the Spurs analyst was on there, and he was going in hard, and I just turned around and said, look, at the end of the day, I've seen Tottenham win things, and I'm a bit older. I said, but all I've heard for the last 15 months is Angie's clueless. Angie's got that in-game management. He plays with a high line. He plays with inverted wingers, or inverted fullbacks. Sorry. We are shit at set pieces because we keep conceding goals and that. We don't score. We don't put our chances away. All the different things I've heard from different people all throughout these last 15 months. I then look at this season, because that's what we're measuring it. We're measuring the here and now. And I look at it now and I think to myself, how many goals we conceded from set pieces? Two from set pieces.
One was the other day, but yeah. So it's fresh.
Conceded two from set pieces. Yeah. We have got how many goals? We're the top goal scorers in the Premiership. So yeah, we don't take our chances. Well, imagine if we did take our chances, because we're currently top goal scorers.
Then it'd be out of sight, for sure.
Then the inverting. No, the players haven't been inverting as much. And I went to the Everton game, and even I said it because I was live there and I came on your show, and I was saying he hasn't inverted. The fullbacks haven't inverted, and there's been quite a bit of that this season. Possession of the ball, it wasn't something we were accused of, but where we've been like really heavily possessive with the ball, we've not. We're kind of sharing the ball now, and we look better for sharing the ball, in the sense that we're beating teams, we're scoring more goals because we're sharing the ball. We look totally different when we just dominate possession all the time, right? And because then we're not finding spaces and creating opportunities. But when we're sharing the ball and we're letting the teams have the ball, our press is second to none. So what is, all these different things that people kept saying throughout the season, throughout last year, and are trying to bring this into this season. Sorry, you've got your blinkers on. You're not accepting that change has actually happened. Now, the other thing is that if you have preconceived ideas, Colin, right? So there's a lot of people within our fan base who, as soon as we signed Ange, said, he's
not good
shit.
enough.
He's shit. I don't want him. Farmers League, and all that. It means it doesn't matter what he does, and it still doesn't 15 months later. It doesn't matter what he does, he's shit. And they're not being objective. They're not looking at each game. They're just saying he's shit, because they've already drawn their conclusion before he started the role that he's shit. And therefore, it doesn't matter what we do, it ain't going to change. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And that's being a supporter, a fan, if you like. It doesn't mean we all sit on the same train with them train of thoughts, but these thoughts are some of the thoughts that are out there with the fan base.
It's fair. No, I completely agree.
So your colleague on your channel, right? Where's he sit with this now? Because I'm not too sure now. I keep getting lost. It's like if we're talking about Kuva's flip flops, right? Well, I don't know. Jamie must have a whole store of flip flops.
It's about every other match for him. I feel like we win, Ange in, we lose, Ange out. No, I think he wants Ange. He wants Ange to work out. He just doesn't feel like it'll happen in the long run still. But he's more optimistic now after seeing us play. Like I keep saying, that second half, man, shoo, that second half put that team playing like that against anybody. I don't care who it is, and be a very entertaining game to watch at the very least. So yeah, I don't know exactly where he sits, but I think he's probably flipped back to Anjin after that win. But yeah, I mean, and with Jamie, it's I don't want to totally speak for him, but he just thinks that he's that his in-game management, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like the fact that he's like quiet on the touchline. Just the same stuff that the other people are upset about. But I don't think.
But his in-game management, Colin, has got nothing to do with him being quiet on the touchline. You can change things. Don't talk about him, do you? I mean, his in-game management might be at half time.
Yeah.
And the tweaks that are made, just because we don't see him make and do the tweaks, that doesn't mean he hasn't reacted and he hasn't done the in-game part. Yeah, every time that the camera pans over to him, he seems to be quiet. And that's probably when the camera catches him, he seems to be quiet. But how many times has the camera not panned to him and he's not been quiet? We don't know because the camera hasn't panned.
Yeah, that's a good point. We need somebody to go to the match and be on Ange watch and just do an Ange cam the whole time. Just
sit in the dugout with him.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know. There's that fella that keeps going to matches and to events, and he keeps getting in all the photographs. We need to do something like that. Get someone in on the inside and get them into the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and be in all the photographs and be in. Like who's that sitting next to us?
I wish I was British. I wish I was British. I could probably sneak in, but my American accent, I wouldn't get anywhere. All you need is a coat that matches like the team coats. Wait till they're all wearing those one day, and then just walk in, act like you belong there.
But you've got J Max saying, Spot on Jose, some fans were against Ange before he took his first training session. NM says, I'm firmly in the camp of if the players believe in the manager, I'll back him. Adrian.
Yes, that's
in Ange's 56 matches, 31 wins, 8 draws, 17 losses, which equates to 56.36. Win ratio for Mourinho, 58-46 was 55. Conte was 58. Potts was 55.94. AVB was 58, and Nuno was 50. And then J Max says he stays quiet and calm for a reason.
Because he's not a dickhead. No, I'm just kidding. But
if you don't blow up, it doesn't go. Your players don't then feel it, do they?
Exactly. You don't want to stress people out. I mean, it's all Ange is all about, I think, believing in. I know it sounds stupid, but it seems like a lot of his philosophy is based on just believing in your abilities and that you know what to do. And I think that he trusts those players to know what they're doing and he kind of instills that into the players. And yelling from the touchline only causes confusion. Anytime you know what I mean? Like it's just confusing. It's you've been told one thing, you're being yelled at, told another thing, but the people around you aren't reacting. I don't know. We're depending on everybody to do a job too. And some of these guys, Ange could be telling them, hey, change this, and they just don't. We don't really, there's a lot that we're not privy to. But to say that he's got like no in-game management is crazy. Just I feel like his older parts of his career when he was in Australia and Japan, I think is looked down upon, and I think that's unfair. Because it's not like he was coaching in those leagues with a team from the Premier League, and just walking it. He was playing within the same constraints as all those other teams and managers, and I don't know. That's great experience in my book. So now he's here. Now he's playing on the same constraints and stuff as the other managers, and he is looking like he can hang. So
Ryan singing Nuno, Nuno, Nuno. Peter
Oh.
is saying he stays quiet because his mind is ticking. He has never been one to act like a clown. Nick saying, I've just finished Angeball. It's brilliant. The man has dealt with doubters and hate everywhere he's ever been, but he's proved them all wrong. And Angus says to me, José, ¿has visto los resultados de Ange cuando estaba entrenador del Celtic? Son mierda. So, Jose, have you seen the results for Ange when he was Celtic's manager? They were shit. Right. Angus. Angus. Perspective. Right. His results in Europe weren't great. But he won a double I think it was a double in his first season and a triple in his second season. So his results must have been good in the league and in whatever they were doing because he got 5 trophies in 2 seasons. So yeah, in Europe they weren't up to scratch, and in Europe, bringing in this new philosophy and the way he wanted to play, it certainly alarmed a few people in Europe. I remember the press in Spain after Madrid had beat them. I think Madrid beat them 3-0, but Celtic had Madrid under the pump for the first 60 minutes, and they didn't score. They either they were saved or they didn't put the ball away. And then after that, Madrid came back and scored the 3 goals. Why are my dogs barking? It's not as if fireworks going off at the moment, unless I can't hear them. So at the end of the day, he's done well, Angus. He's won 5 trophies. I can't knock the man for winning 5 trophies. Doesn't matter where you're at. 5 trophies is 5 trophies. Peter says, and with every team he leaves them in a good place.
I
Personally,
think he's staying here, Peter. Sorry.
yeah, personally, Peter, I want him to stay. I don't want him to go. That's my personal opinion, not shared by everybody I know, but
Yeah.
that's my personal opinion. I want him to stay. I want to give him a contract for 4 years. There is a reason for that. Let's see. I don't want all this rinse and repeating crap all the time.
Same.
Let's
And I
see what.
think sorry, but everybody talks about making it to the Premier League, and he's made it here. Spurs are a big team, and if you could, I don't know, it's just one of those things. He seems like he's always wanted to prove, like they said, like Nick said, prove people wrong, and doing it with Spurs would be like the ultimate proving people wrong. And so I think he's in it. I don't know. I feel like for some reason he's in it for the long haul with us, and he'll stay as long as we'd have him. To be fair.
And then you've got Kuva saying, after watching us concede some awful goals and look awful in attack at times, too, I gave up and said Ange out. Since then, we've done pretty damn well. I'll switch to Ange out again when we need a boost.
Yes,
Angus is
Kuva.
saying, mi abuela puede ganar esa liga. My nan can win that league.
Well,
J Max says,
okay.
I definitely want the gaffer to stay. Peter, it says, Kuva, you don't understand what he's doing. I read Ange like a book. Everything he does, there is a reason. But reason why. But you people only see the now. No, Peter, not everyone does. Not everyone does. And he's saying, si se va Gareth Southgate, es el siguiente entrenador. If Ange leaves, the next coach will be Gareth Southgate.
No.
And all I can say is to Angus, and all I'm going to say is Arteta in, Lego head in, Kroenke in, every fucker at Arsenal in. I hope that Arsenal remain as tight as what they are at the moment, and they all remain in that cauldron together. And I hope they're there for many years to come. I don't
Couldn't have
wish
said it
no
better
ill.
myself.
I don't wish no ill on your club, mate. I just wish you all stick together. Yeah, you're more flip. You got more flip flops in your fan base than we got at Tottenham. It sounds. um.
It does.
Right. So
Indeed.
apart from that, so we've covered the match. We've covered Galatasaray,
Yeah.
Ipswich. What happens with Ipswich then, Cole?
I mean, that's a good question. Ipswich. So, like we were saying before, you can't count out any team in the Premier League. You can't. The way to lose a game instantly is to just think you're gonna waltz out there and win. I feel like Spurs have been guilty of that in the past, and so
At home?
I mean, not likely, but I mean it could definitely happen. We could definitely be surprised, but I expect us to win. I I kind of think we're going to go on a little bit of a run here. I definitely think we'll win these next 2 games. So that puts us at what, 4 wins. I wouldn't be surprised if we go on a nice little run. Who do we have when we come back from international break?
I'll have to look.
You're supposed to have this. You're supposed to have this memorized.
No, I know we've got Man City coming up.
Oh shit!
Right, Saturday the 23rd. We are away to Manchester City.
Oh well, okay. Well,
our first
maybe
game
we'll
back
have a little 4-game streak.
Our first game back is the evening game against Manchester City on a Saturday night at 5:30 in the evening. I don't. What's the time in for you at the moment in Evansville?
12:43 p.m.
So that means it would be in the 11:38 a.m. kickoff for you on a Saturday, the Man City Tottenham game. When we return.
That'll be a nice one for me time wise. But yeah, that's a bit of an intense match. And like somebody said earlier in the comments, we'll see at that match, where we are compared to City. But I know I switched and I kind of skipped the Ipswich match. I think we can get away with some rotation against Ipswich, of course. If Richarlison is back fit, I'm not sure how bad his.
Richarlison's out, mate. No, he's out. Don't worry about him. He's out. It was a hamstring pull. You can see it quite clearly. It was a hamstring pull. Oh, we just don't know what grade. We just don't know what grade tear it is at the moment.
Gotcha.
Because depending on the grade, depends how long he'll be out for.
If it's grade 1, how long is he out?
I think the grade 1 is the one that's not so long.
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
Just 2 to 4 weeks, I would have said. Grade 2, probably 4 to 6, 4 to 7. Grade 3 is what Van der Ven had last season, and that was nearer 12 weeks.
Shit, yeah, and those are the ones you got to worry about happening again. But yeah, so I mean, against Ipswich, I think Solanke plays. I think Dom Solanke plays. I don't think he plays against Besiktas. Galatasaray. Sorry, I don't think that's who we're playing. But I don't think he plays that match. He might travel, but I don't think he sees the pitch. I think he does play against Ipswich. Yeah, and I mean, I think we'll see. I don't think we'll see Sonny for the whole match against Galatasaray. Do you think we'll see Sonny versus Galatasaray?
As I said, I'm kind of torn both ways, Colin. I can put a case for, and I can put an argument against. Like I was saying earlier, what I wanted or what I thought we'd do is this, but equally we can do that because we can. Yeah. You can because you're not. Listen, the difficulty that Andrew's got, right, and it is a difficulty in a sense, is that our squad is thinner than what it should have been, right? For one reason or another, it's thinner than what it should have been, and we've just come off a back of playing a whole load of games. How many games have we played since the last international break? We've played 3 every week, haven't we?
Yeah.
So it's been Premiership, Europe, Premiership, Carabao Cup, Premiership, Europe, Premiership, Europe, Premiership. So we've been playing so many different games. So this is the last 2 games of this cycle, and it'll be this week would have been Premiership, Europe Thursday, Premiership again on Sunday. So in a week there's another 3 games there because we played on a Sunday, we're playing Thursday, and we're playing Sunday again. So this is the last 2 games of what has been a mammoth round of fixtures for us since the last international break. When we come back from the international break, once more, it's going to be mammoth again because it'll be Man City, Europe, League, Europe, League, Europe, League, Europe, League, and then it will be Carabao Cup, League, 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 Europe, League, Europe, League, all the way up until the end of January. So up until the 30th and 31st of January, we are playing once every 3 days again, because if we had gone out of the Carabao Cup, we would have been off the week of the 17th of December, or the week between the 16th, but we would have had a whole week off between one Premiership weekend and the other Premiership weekend. We wouldn't have had a game, but because we qualified, the 8 teams that have qualified for the quarterfinals, those that are in Europe, means that Carabao Cup game has been put into that week, so it means you're playing every 3 days.
Jesus,
so
man.
it's just one. Last year we didn't have enough of it, did we? Because we played 1 game a week.
Right. Yeah. There was. We didn't get to see certain players even, and so I mean I do like that aspect of having multiple fronts. We get to see even though we don't have as many players as we like of a certain quality, I think it's cool to see other players given a chance and see what they can do. We've got to see Mikey more for this reason, I think. So yeah, that's exciting, at least.
So you've got Peter's talking to Angus about this, and I think Daniel is trying to tell. I've been listening to you, but then seeing what people say. And Daniel's trying to tell Angus that we don't suffer against Man City. We've beaten them fair few times, but Arsenal are dead weights against them and never beat them. Gus Parker is saying Saudi Beckham for Richie. Gus, I said the other day, mate. For me, I think that ship sailed. I just don't think clubs are stupid. And in that sense, what I'm saying is that clubs can see that he gets injured all the time. And I don't think you're going to get the funds that they were offering last season for him when they know that this player's gone out injured again. I think if you're going to sell him to somewhere, you're going to get far less than the 60 you outlaid for him. It'd be far, far less. Leo is here. Good morning to you, Leo. Says, hey,
What is up,
homie.
my homie?
Hope you're all doing well. When do you travel, Leo? Because you're at the Ipswich game on Sunday, and I'm sure that you're coming over this week. But I don't know
Holy
when
shit,
you're
man.
traveling. Yeah, you're
Safe
traveling
travels,
over this
buddy.
week.
That's awesome.
Edem says it also oops. Edem saying also depends where in the hamstring it's torn. If it's high up, it's bad because rushing back can cause further injuries. Destiny 5 says no team has took more wins and points from City since Pep has been than at City than Spurs. Ryan G says, gotta go now, Jose and Colin. Big up, guys. Great show. Take care. See you on the next one. Thank you very much, Ryan, for being here. We're finishing up anyway, so and Angus says we actually beat them twice in the 5 years he's been here. But we beat them like 3 times a year. We were beating Man City 3 times a year, Angus. So but anyway, guys, girls, thank you very much for watching the show today. If you do appreciate the show, give it a like. Consider hitting the like button. I want to thank Colin for coming on. It's been good
Thank
to
you for
see him.
having me. Yeah, it's been great,
It's
buddy.
been a while, so I'm glad to see that Colin's about. It's been a while. Thank you to everyone in the chat for watching. And then you've got. I'm going to say thank you to Peter for sponsoring the show by giving out 10 channel memberships.
That just means, and that means more people can come on the member show. I love that.
Yes, I've just got to fit one in. You've got Angus is now sorry, Adrian saying Leo, mate. Me, Brad Matthews, Charlie Biker, his dad, and others are meeting in a dispensary bar before the game. Did Leo say when he was coming then? I don't think he did. I did ask, but Leo hasn't put it in there. But I think he's up. Big up, Jose. Small down to your destiny. Anyone that says big up, I say small down. Small down to your destiny. Small down.
Yeah.
Chris
That's
Agenbar.
good.
Look at that. Big up, Jose and Colin. Great show. Thank you very much for watching, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Well in, lads. No throwing fireworks. No, we certainly won't be throwing
I
fireworks.
want all of my fingers. I saw a terrible video of a guy with a firework blowing up in his hand. I shouldn't have watched it. I watched that and I was like, oh my gosh.
And
My brain didn't need to see that.
Juanito El Vasco is saying later, geezers.
Johnny,
Edem says, thanks, Jose and Colin. Have a good evening, everyone. No, thank you, everyone, for watching. TTID, I'll reach out on WhatsApp. Yeah, I still haven't found out when you're coming over. I know it's this week sometime, though, Leo. But anyway, listen, guys. Colin, when are you next on two sides of a...
No idea. Maybe today. Jamie has some family stuff come up again. So everyone keep Jamie in your thoughts, please. And so I'm kind of flying solo for a while with the channel, which is no problem. But yeah, there'll be more content. Just make sure you got the bell icon clicked, and you'll be informed whenever I go on.
So everyone that we've got in the chat is over subscribed to you already because there's no one. We've got the same kind of people that are in yours that are in mine.
We're all homies. I love it.
And yeah, I will be doing another show for definite on Friday, which will be the prediction show. It'll be week 11. And then apart from that, I haven't planned anything for anything more than that. And Sunday it'll be the ladies again on Sunday. So I haven't planned anything at all. With work, it kind of takes me away from doing all this. So he's leaving Denver tomorrow and he'll be here Thursday till Tuesday. Leo, have a safe flight, man. Have a safe flight.
Yeah, dude, be good. Don't don't have drinks with the the pilot before the flight or anything like that. You want that pilot on
So
lock.
yeah, so thank you everyone, and like always, it's for me. It's always come on, you mighty Spurs, and in the big Ange, I trust. Last words for you, Cole.
Be good to yourself, be good to others, and have a great day.
Thank you very much, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye.